Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the Political Matrix. Political Matrix News for the last few days of spring and the very first days of summer. Rob Milford in Orlando, that's it. Jonathan Cole joining us from the Western Gateway to the Sunshine State. That would be, more or less Pensacola on the beach, close enough. And then Greg Fink is in Gainesville. And I try to think of how's football going there. Is the football
It's
team
going to be great this year? We're going to do good. We're going to get a baseball. We're in the World Series.
As we do this, the College World Series is underway. Florida State has just been eliminated, but Florida, Go Gators, is still in the hunt.
Yep. Exactly.
They have to win tonight, though, and tomorrow.
They will.
They won. They won today, Wednesday.
Well, they're about to play Texas A&M in a few minutes, so
they can. No, they don't. That was the makeup game from yesterday, wasn't it? Or was that the Florida State?
They play Texas A&M starting probably about now.
Okay, so I'll let you turn on your ESP and check it out. What to talk about? I thought it was fascinating reading Marco Rubio's biography, which is on this bookshelf right over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really is. I'm not going to get up, walk over and grab it because it takes too long to look at it. My butt's too big to go on screen. So Marco Rubio talked about going. He actually got a football scholarship. I kid you not.
Really?
To Tarkio State in Missouri. How he got scouted from Miami to Missouri, I'll never know. But here's the kicker. Subsequent to his departure there, Tarkio State doesn't exist anymore. So I've decided that I'm going to make my college degree from Tarkio State. Good luck finding it, huh?
Exactly.
Who's going to know the damn difference? Which is okay with me. Donald Trump has a very short list of vice presidential prospects. Marco Rubio is way on the top of that list.
Right.
And there are a bunch of others, but Marco is up, even though he has little hands, according to Trump. Little hands, everybody. Give me the little hand effect. Come on. Let's see. Closer. There you go. Anyway, so the deal is this. Marco Rubio, vice president. Does the Constitution say? Let's look at the Constitution. Right there, baby. Does it say the president and the vice president can't be from the same state? It discourages it. I looked. I can't find a no-no in there.
Yeah.
But they also say there's a workaround. So here's the deal. Wow. I can't believe it's been that long. 24 years ago, right about now, George W. Bush, the governor of Texas, was running for president of the United States. And he had to decide before the convention who was going to be the vice president. The Republicans went to him and said, we want this guy. No nonsense, Secretary of Defense, good grasp on foreign policy. He'll take care of business. And that was Dick Cheney. I got the call. I was working in Dallas at the time. They said, go over to this address in Highland Park, the very hooty snooty neighborhood of Dallas, by the way. I mean, you don't get in that neighborhood in a house these days for less than $2 million and maybe more. And that's the little stuff. And Dick had a really nice place. And so take the North Central Expressway, take the quick exit to go to the house. And it turned out that I was behind Dick Cheney the whole way and did not know it. I followed that car. They ran the last two stop signs. I'm not kidding. They ran the last two stop signs thinking I was following them, and I knew who they were. I had no idea. So I come around the corner, and I see that car pulling into the house. I go, holy crap, that was Dick Cheney in that car. And it was. And then I was the first media there. Then the whole world ascended. And they were parked in the front yard. You know, the guy that lived across the street was the fellow that owned Fuddruckers and what's the other Italian place? Anyway, Dick Cheney that day, next day, got on a plane, went to Wyoming, registered to vote, activated his old address, got his library card to make himself a resident of Wyoming, where he had been a member of Congress 20 years previously. I don't know who would then move
Now,
from Florida. Would that be Donald Trump leaving Palm Beach, not West Palm Beach, or would Marco Rubio go back to Missouri, where he went to Tarkio State back in the 80s? What do you guys think?
I mean, he could go to Jersey. He could go to New York. I mean, he has properties in a lot of different places. I just didn't know what the rules are in those states. I mean, every state has their own rule as far as, being there and registering to vote and so on and so forth. I
John?
don't know.
Maybe they're just going to challenge this concept because everybody keeps screaming it can't be done. But as you said, it doesn't really look that way in the Constitution.
No,
So
it does
maybe
not.
this is a test case, and Trump's famous for pushing envelopes. So.
Yeah, they are, and they both are. I mean,
Well,
both these guys are very edgy politicians, and they got no problem pushing the envelope. I don't think to the highest level possible.
Well, but how about this? How about Trump has spent enough damn time in courtrooms already this year? I mean, what the heck?
Pick a state.
All right, so
in Georgia.
He's scheduled to go. Yeah, I couldn't believe Fannie Willis says because we call her Fannie and not Fani that we're discriminating against a black woman or a woman of color. I'm like, no,
Whatever.
Your mom gave you. I'm sorry, it's kind of a stupid name, and kids are cruel, and some of us never grew out of being fifth graders. Show of hands. So Fani, that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. All three unanimous. So Fani, we're really sorry, but that's strictly on your parents. The King family in where were they? Pittsburgh. One of their boys is named Nazmo because they saw the sign on the wall in the waiting room, Nazmo King, and I'm ready for that in 3, 2, 1. There you go. It got registered. So anyway, Marco Rubio gets elected vice president. That means Florida needs a new senator. What do you think, what senator do you think Ron DeSantis would appoint? Because the governor does that until the next election. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, the rumor mills, and it's always such, you hear lots of things, but the rumor mill is Ron DeSantis might just appoint himself and then immediately resign from office and let the lieutenant governor take over and go ahead and proceed with his next career act, which everybody kind of knew was going to be senator, the next step to president if you don't win the primary. If you just sit around and dawdle around and write books, people tend to forget about you. So he has to be active in politics, and why not go ahead and just start the next act?
Okay, so Jeanette Nunez, governor of Florida. That'll be interesting. Third largest state in the nation with a Hispanic female governor. Wow.
I do not think Ron DeSantis is ready to give up that kind of executive authority at this moment. I also think that there's a lot of other guys who are on the bench to be the next senator, like Ken Cochran. And, there's a talk about the Agriculture Secretary Wilson Simpson, Mr. Simpson. And we also have Petronas, Jimmy Petronas, as a CFO. So we have a lot of people who are already on the bench already to be the next senators.
Okay. Hey, Ron just jumps right over that.
Well,
He's going to sit on no bench.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's no bench for Ron. But, I still think that being a senator in D.C. is a lot different than being the governor of Florida. The governor of Florida does a pretty damn good job. You're in charge of a large budget. You get to do a lot of good stuff if you do it properly. But, I don't really know if the governor wants to be a senator. Yeah, but if he is going to appoint himself, at least he won't have any controversy about worrying about, the scandal of it.
No.
Nobody would ever look at it as weird, would they? No.
Plus
it'd be exactly what we expect out of Ron.
If he were to continue on, he'd serve 2 more years as governor, and it'd be another 2 years before this seat comes open again for election. So he doesn't want to sit on the sidelines for 2 years. But something that a lot of people I know have been mentioning that since he suspended his presidential campaign, he's been kind of an indifferent governor. He's not the powerhouse he was 2 years ago, changing the world. So Maybe he's lost interest in the job.
I mean, you're also. I mean, a lot of people are also assuming that he's still going to be running for president again later. He might be doing something totally different. I mean, in politics, world things happen very quickly for a very long time. I mean, it's you have no idea what's going to be happening in 2 years or 4 years from now.
All right. Well, don't forget
So-
the last time this really happened. The last time this happened, Mel Martinez was out, and George Lemieux became the junior
Exactly.
U.S. senator from Florida. That wasn't that long
Right.
ago, right?
No, it wasn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're over
His
the.
name-
Oh, wait. We forgot the possibility,
Of
especially since they've been more chummy lately. What about Matt Gaetz for Senate?
that is a possibility.
Because
Matt Gaetz could elevate.
he has been
Yeah,
agreeing with
upwards,
him more
lately.
lately. He went against Trump on some key aspects lately.
Yeah.
So I forgot.
see
I
it.
just didn't think about that till just now.
I can see it. I mean, payback is a bitch. Unfortunately, it's a bitch for the whole state, not for the guys.
Especially since I saw a polling yesterday that Matt's statewide popularity is 21%. So he's not going to get
It's
elected.
really good,
senator.
guys.
If he's not going to get elected senator, put him in there, and then he's the incumbent.
Exactly.
Now, there is a long list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Gates for
7,
Senate.
8, 9. Everybody, 9 governors between the 1930s and 1970s. 8 governors appointed themselves U.S.
Right.
senators. None of them
Only
won
8.
re-election. None of them won re-election. Keep that in mind. And the next
Exactly.
they pick up the next election cycle. So it would be, basically 2 years in Washington, and you'd spend the second year campaigning and the first year flying all
You
over the
write a
country
book.
fundraising for everybody else.
Yeah, you go write a few books. You do some charity work. You play golf.
Not going to worry about that. But the governor has been, as his wont, has been running around the state and was in Marathon just the other day. They said a rare visit to the Keys. I don't know. If I was governor,
Right.
I'd figure out how to put the governor's mansion, down on one of the keys, maybe Duck Key, just a little place,
Would be good.
and a little fish right off your porch. I'd be good with that.
Right.
But
It would be.
he was down there to talk about the reef restoration program, and I think bring a little publicity to the start of lobster season. What he did not do was Senate Bill 21, which, well, that's just what we know it as, because that went all the way through this year, and that names A1A, and if not, I'm surprised it's A1A and not the entirety of US 1 from for Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway. And I don't have a problem with that. Everybody go, oh, liberal, Buffett's such a liberal. Guess what? I don't care. I don't freaking care. His songs were fun. I drank a lot of beer, sailed a lot of miles, worked on a good tan, and drank more beer while I was listening to Jimmy Buffett over the last 40 years. I don't care. He has one vote. I have one vote. End of story. So could he have, maybe he'll go take another trip down and take Christy and the kids and go down to the Keys for a couple of days and have a Hawaiian shirt on, maybe wearing his jams and do the Jimmy Buffett road signature. I'm good with that. Absolutely good with that. And
I think that'd be good. I agree totally.
What did Jimmy Buffett do so great for Florida? Yeah, it's called Save the Freaking Manatees. Okay, Save the Manatees. That is probably one of the greatest things he could have done. At this point,
Right.
we might have had that not happen. We might have about 24 hanging out at SeaWorld, and that'd be about it.
He was also the de facto Keys Tourism Board for 40 years. A lot of people went down there just because of his songs.
Absolutely.
Right.
I did the
bar tax money to the state.
He's a very good ambassador for us.
Millions and millions of visitors over his career from the time he got down to Key West in, what was it, 71 or 72. He and Jerry Jeff Walker drove down, and he stayed. And I got to tell you, though, because Jimmy and I have a lot of friends in common in Mobile, Alabama. He did not have a sucky life in Mobile by any stretch of the imagination. It's the University of Southern Mississippi, about 90 miles away in Hattiesburg. It's where he got his college degree, and it was easy, about a 2-hour drive to New Orleans to be a street musician on weekends, and he did okay with that. And then he was in Nashville for a couple of years and actually wrote for Billboard magazine, was a reporter. Right. Then he goes to Key West, and he's got 2-3 albums out by that time, and ABC heard it and said, you know what, Jim Croce just died, so that was 74. So Jim Croce just died. We need somebody to fill that hole in the lineup, and there is young Mr. Buffett. And so there you have it. Again, I have no problem with naming the entirety of US1, but if they're just doing A1A, then it's got to be, I think, all of A1A from Jacksonville, Amelia Island, all the way down to Key West. I got no problem with that either. Okay?
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett, not a native Floridian, but by God, he got here as quick as he could. This is the Political Matrix newscast. I'm Rob Milford. Greg Fink is right there, and Jonathan Cole as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
All right. Have a good evening.